Pripyat, a ghost town, frozen in time. Once a majestic center of Soviet science, now a grim monument to tragedy. Streets that once teemed with life are now empty, buildings crumbling under the relentless grip of nature. Pripyat, the lost experiment. Michael couldn't shake the feeling that he was being drawn to Pripyat, this abandoned city, once a majestic center of Soviet science, now stood as a grim monument to tragedy, beckoning to him like a siren song. A researcher of the paranormal, he had heard the chilling stories of shadows that wandered the empty streets and strange sounds that echoed from the depths of the ruins. He knew about the mysterious experiment that had been conducted here before the fateful year of 1986. Rumors of horrific creatures, bred in the laboratories, haunted his thoughts. Could there really be paranormal phenomena lurking in this desolate zone? Was it possible that these monstrous beings, born of human hubris, still roamed free? Driven by an insatiable desire to uncover the truth, Michael packed a backpack full of research equipment and set off on a journey to Pripyat. His heart pounded as he stepped foot on the forsaken land, surrounded by the ruins of a once great city. Pushing through the overgrown weeds, Michael felt a chill run down his spine. The air was thick with the smell of decay, and the silence was oppressive. He walked through empty streets where life had once thrived, now filled with nothing but emptiness. His footsteps led him to an abandoned laboratory, where rumors said the horrific experiments had taken place. His heart raced as he cautiously made his way through the dark corridors, stumbling over debris and broken glass. Finally, he found what he was looking for: rooms filled with shattered beakers, surgical instruments, and horrifying drawings of creatures that should never have existed. A wave of dread washed over him as he imagined the terrible secrets that lay hidden within these walls. Suddenly, Michael heard a sound like the rustle of wings. He spun around and caught sight of a creature in the dark corner of the room. It resembled a dog, but with twisted limbs, sharp teeth, and glowing eyes. The creature lunged at him, and he recoiled, stumbling over debris. Michael fought with the creature, feeling its hot breath on his face. Its sharp claws tore at his clothes, and the horrific sounds it made pierced the silence. He punched and kicked, using anything he could find to defend himself. Finally, he managed to land a blow to the creature's head, and it fell to the ground, motionless. Exhausted, Michael collapsed to the floor, his body covered in wounds. He looked himself over alive, but battered. He looked around and gasped in horror. Other creatures were staring at him from the darkness, their eyes glowing with fury. Michael realized he was trapped. Michael lunged for the exit, hoping to escape the horrific creatures. He ran through the dark corridors, stumbling over debris, the terrifying sounds of pursuit echoing behind him. Michael burst out into the street, but there he was met with another disappointment. A group of people in military uniforms surrounded him. Their faces were merciless, and they held weapons in their hands. "What are you doing here?" a harsh voice rang out. Michael tried to explain that he was a researcher, but his words were cut short. "This is a quarantine zone. You are under arrest," came the order. The soldiers grabbed Michael, snatched the camera from his hands, and led him away into the unknown. Years passed. A group of researchers studying Pripyat found an old camera hidden under the rubble. When they reviewed the footage, they discovered Michael's horrifying story. The recording showed him fighting a hideous creature in a dark laboratory. Then the soldiers appear, arrest him, and lead him away. The researchers could find no trace of Michael. His fate remained a mystery. The city still hides terrible secrets that are best left untouched. Some believe that Michael was killed by the soldiers. Others believe that he managed to escape, but perished in the labyrinths of Pripyat. There are also those who claim that the horrific creatures he was looking for finally devoured him. So what really happened? Where did Michael disappear to? Share your guesses in the comments below this video. Story 2: Lost in Pripyat. Liza, a 12-year-old girl with raven black hair and eyes as deep as night secrets, always felt drawn to the otherworldly. Her favorite subject was Chernobyl, the abandoned city swallowed by time and radiation. She would spend hours reading about the tragedy of 1986, dreaming of walking those empty streets where life once thrived. Unexpectedly, her dream came true. Her parents, amazed by their daughter's obsession, gave her a tour of the Chernobyl exclusion zone. Liza couldn't contain her emotions. Her heart fluttered like a trapped bird as she stepped onto the abandoned land, wearing a protective suit. She explored the empty, weed-overgrown houses with curiosity. Her imagination painted pictures of the life that once flourished here. Suddenly, a chill ran down her spine, a feeling that someone was watching her. Turning around, she saw no one. She continued walking, but the feeling of presence didn't go away. A shadow lurking behind every corner, behind every tree. Finally, she stopped at an old kindergarten. Rusty swings and lopsided seesaws swayed in the wind like ghosts. Liza peered through the window. In the room, on a broken chair, sat a doll. Its eyes, made of blue glass, stared at Liza with unspeakable sadness. The doll was calling to her. Liza approached the kindergarten door, but it was locked. Suddenly, the door opened on its own. Fear gripped her, but curiosity led her forward. She walked down a dark corridor, and the doll, as if alive, led her on. Finally, they arrived in a room where children once played. Scattered toys lay on the floor, and faded drawings hung on the walls. Liza approached the doll. Its hair, once white, had dulled, and its dress, once blue, had turned gray. "Why are you here?" Liza whispered. The doll didn't answer, but its eyes filled with tears. Liza hugged the doll. She felt that the doll was the soul of a girl who once lived in Pripyat. "I won't leave you," Liza whispered. She took the doll in her arms and left the kindergarten. Liza never saw Pripyat again, but she always kept the doll with her. She knew that the girl's soul had found peace. However, that was just the beginning. At night, the doll would come to life. Its eyes would glow with a dim blue light, and a quiet cry would escape from its lips. Liza couldn't sleep. She was terrified by these nightly visits. One day, Liza found an old photograph in the attic. It depicted a girl wearing the same blue dress as the doll. The girl in the photo looked incredibly similar to Liza. Liza realized that the doll was her shadow, her otherworldly self. She threw the doll into the river, but it didn't sink. Its eyes, like two bloody rubies, stared at Liza with anger. Liza ran away, but the doll didn't give up. It followed her, trailing her like a shadow. At night, Liza could hear its quiet cry, piercing through the walls. Its eyes glowed with a dim blue light, and its cold breath brushed against her face. Liza couldn't live in fear anymore. She decided to uncover the mystery of the doll. She returned to Pripyat, searching for answers. There, wandering the abandoned streets, she met an old man who had once lived in the city. He told her about the tragedy, about the horrific days after the accident. He mentioned a girl who died in the kindergarten, and her doll, which she never parted with. Liza understood that the doll was not just a toy. It was the soul of the girl, trapped between worlds. She found the spot where the girl had died and placed the doll on the ground. "I'm letting you go," Liza whispered. Suddenly, the doll came to life. Its eyes filled with tears, and a piercing cry erupted from its lips. The cry shook the abandoned city, and it seemed as if the very soul of Pripyat was pouring out its pain. The doll shuddered and shattered into small pieces, its eyes, like two bloody rubies, extinguished. Liza felt that the girl's soul was finally free. She returned home, but she would never forget the horrific secrets of Pripyat and the doll that had become her shadow twin. The end.